In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this puzzle picture frame held together with glue and tape. So the first step we need to do is I need to create a strong back for my puzzle. My puzzle is too big to fit on a single sheet of plywood, so this is what I did to solve that problem. I have two different layers of plywood staggered and glued together. That way I can make myself something larger than 4 foot wide. So I'm taking these two sheets of plywood that are very wobbly and loose on their own, but once I glue them together, that sort of doubles their strength and makes it much more rigid. So I laid everything out on the floor right there at my tape line. That's how much extra surface area I need. I went ahead and squirted just a ton of Titebond 2 glue on here. I didn't worry about smearing it. And I went ahead and just laid it all down there. I got a nice giant sheet of plywood there to help kind of evenly distribute weight out. And I waited the whole night. The next morning here, we go ahead and stand it up and much stronger. And then once that was done, it was time to wake up again. My wife had completed this puzzle a couple months ago, and so she put on this sticky tape in sections so we could store the puzzle off screen. This is how the sticky tape works. You get this stuff just off Amazon, but it's got a back you peel off it, and then you just peel it down. It's just a giant piece of tape is all it is. You start on one side and then use a little squeegee tool to squeegee it out, making sure you don't get any air bubbles. And then this is how we are connecting all of the little tiny puzzle pieces together. That way they won't fall off or anything. Once all of these are done and completed, we go ahead and we put on this super glue that I have here. I just got it at Home Depot. I think that'll work just fine. And now that I'm applying all of this glue on, we go ahead and weigh it down over the night until the next morning. And yes, as you can see, it has turned out wonderful. The puzzle sticks. It was a success. There's our 2 layers of plywood and then the puzzle piece layer. This looks really good. I'm really happy with how it's turning out here. So now that the hard part was done, we're on to the next hard part, which is the face frame. I'm cutting the face frame off the short points of these angles here, and I'm making them just a little bit shorter than what my overall puzzle is so I can inset it in. I use a poker hole jig here to drill out my mitered corners, so that way I have a nice easy screw to attach to clamp these 45s together on the backside, obviously. I give everything a good sand, and now here's a little test piece of mine. I am going to make a U-channel out of the wood here. So I marked the top and the bottom on my puzzle. Now I'm going to take that measurement on a block and put it right up to the table saw. Now I'm going to rip all of my face frames and slowly eating away all that material until it can fit around my puzzle. Now that I've successfully done a single dry fit, I'm happy with it. Now I'm going to put a layer of tung oil on the inside here. That way I don't have to get my finish anywhere near the actual puzzle pieces, because I wouldn't want to get any overspill or over smear on the puzzle itself. That would affect the sheen, and who knows, it might absorb and puff up the puzzle pieces because, you know, they're just cardboard. Anyway, we got all of our frame pieces around there. Once I get them all dry fit, I squeeze some glue in there. It's not going to go the whole way down, the glue, so I go ahead and give it a good blow on each corner, shoving that glue down in the corner. Now I can go ahead and get her clamped tight, and then I'll put a screw from the underside here to then fully finish it, getting it tight. If you can see right there, we got a little bit of glue squeeze out, so I know I have a good tight fit there. Once all the corners are done, this is my last piece going in here. It was very tight, but I managed to get it in there and I'm happy with it. I wanted it to be really tight. In this corner, I had to cut just a little bit away for it to properly smidgen in there. But here it all is. The frame is done. I'm glad I thought ahead and oiled that inside edge, because that would have been really hard to do at this stage. But it's good. So we're ready to tongue oil now this. And I'm just wiping it on here with a blue shop rag. I'm sure it's probably way better to use a cloth rag, but I didn't have one, and I'm just going to use with what I've got, and I'm going to make it work. And you know what? It turned out really well. I like using tongue oil. It's a super easy, quick, simple thing to do. You just put on one coat, and then you wipe off all the excess of material off, and you get a really nice finish. So here it all is, getting really close to finishing. It's all pretty. That's what it's going to look like up on the wall. But I still don't like how wobbly it is. So I went ahead and I ripped a piece of oak down the middle here. And I'm going to put them in the middle right here, every thirds. And I'm going to glue that on as kind of a strong backer just to help stiffen everything. I don't want to put any screws or anything in it, so I'm just going to tape it down. All right, next morning, again, I had to wait so many times for this project before waiting for glue to dry. Yep, got it in my bedroom here, ready to get hung up on the wall. I got these picture hangers from just Home Depot. There's dozens of options out there, what you can choose. I go ahead and screw this in here with 2 screws, one on the top, one on the bottom. Make sure it's parallel and screw her tight. I'm putting a drywall molly in here to help hold the picture up because it is quite heavy. My lovely wife gave me assistance to put it up on the wall because this is not a one-man operation. And without further ado, here it is. Boom. Look at that. This turned out really well. I'm very happy with everything about it. It's just wonderful. I get a nice sheen, constant flat look from it. Nice and flat. The frame is nice and smooth. It's wonderful. And every night I go to bed, I always look up at the wall and I think, man, this is stupid. This is such a large puzzle. It is truly large. But it was fun.